Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Para una mejor experiencia, les solicitamos por favor que mantengan sus micrófonos muteados. Todo el material que presentaremos puede ser utilizado para difusión y promoción. Muchas gracias y que disfruten del evento.
¿Mermelada?
Melaza.
Claro.
Disculpe, ¿puede agacharse un poquito? Muchas gracias.
Perdone.
En este piso, increíble, con Dan Aykroyd. Solo por History Channel.
Muy buenos días y bienvenidos a una edición más de History. Y hoy, con History Channel, tenemos el orgullo de presentarles la segunda temporada de Increíble. La maravilla más importante de esta serie Increíble es que hoy por hoy goza de los mayores ratings en los Estados Unidos de cualquier serie estrenada con un presentador de Hollywood. Y hoy tenemos la gran fortuna de que el mismísimo y único Dan Aykroyd está aquí con nosotros. Así que antes de presentarlo, voy a compartir con ustedes un video que resume lo que trae esta interesantísima segunda temporada en el mes de misterio.
Once took flight. In her bathtub, there is a tornado descending on their very location.
They're gonna ride out this storm. But ride means something very different in this case.
Or that it rained something much weirder than cats and dogs on a group of unsuspecting citizens. People are calling 911, they're checking themselves in the hospitals.
The military obviously won't comment on this. It's going to remain a secret.
How about seeing an asteroid coming straight for you during your morning commute? The sky is filled with this bright, blinding light.
Why didn't we see this?
These are the stories around events from above that are so surprising.
Lo que acabamos de compartir con ustedes es algunas escenas del primer episodio titulado Vino desde arriba o Come from Above. And here with us is the one and only Dan Aykroyd. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such a thrill to know that the show is reaching out to everybody through, the Southern Hemisphere and South America, and of course Central America and all the Latin countries. These nations have a great, rich history of unknown and psychic things happening, as well as spectacular weather events such as volcanoes and storms, and the topography of these countries has given us many stories. There was, of course, the corpse that was found in Chile that they thought was an alien corpse, but it was just that of a little girl, part of one of the, I think, a deceased Aztec lady there who froze to death in the mountains. But these are the kind of things that we explore, and we don't do hoaxes, we don't do fabrications, we do real stories. And the Events from Above episode has a lot of really cool anecdotes and interviews and clips, and wherein we build our case to let you decide whether these things really happened or not. Our researchers verify that they did happen, so it's all the more unbelievable that these things really did occur. And one big case is in Brazil, where we have an island off the coast of Brazil that was tormented by UFOs. People were tortured, they were lasered, a couple of them died. And it was an example of, I guess, alien terrorists coming to this planet with superior machines and devastating a society by the sea in Brazil. The police and military looked into it, and it's a very strong case, and we'll be treating that in the upcoming season as well.
And we'll have a little short that I want to share with you and everybody else about a new episode in the second season that is about bizarre innovations. Obviously, Increíble with an Aykroyd in Latin America and Brazil, and Unbelievable in the US is right now the #1 show in the US and worldwide for the History Channel. So we cannot be more proud and happy to share this accomplishment with you. But tell us, what do you think is so incredible about the show and about Dan Aykroyd. Why this is the perfect combination?
Well, I believe that it comes from my ability as a presenter, primarily. I can deliver dialogue and narration, and I can work on the words to make them my own. So I think being hired as someone who could deliver the material was a large part of it. And in doing so, they just happened to have an individual, like many on the planet, who are fascinated by these subjects of the unknown, of the unexplained, weird places, weird things, weird people, weird accomplishments. All of us are interested in this. It's a universal knowledge that we all seek. So that's why the show is successful. I think, you got a half decent presenter, and then you have a well-researched, fascinating material that all of us are interested in and want to know more about.
What is the most incredible or unbelievable experience that you have experienced in your lifetime?
I had a UFO experience that was close up. That was in Montreal, Canada. It was about 4 in the afternoon. My friend and I were having tea on the 20th floor of the Queen Elizabeth Hotel, and we were watching. At the time, we were watching spiders go up and down on the window. It was so funny to have them up that high. On strings, almost like yo-yos, and we were laughing about that, having a tea and a biscuit before we went out for the evening. And all of a sudden, my friend starts, and she goes, "What's that? What's that?" And we both look out the window, and coming down St. Catherine Street at the level of the hotel is a very large gray object moving slowly, no lights. It looked like a big air mattress, okay, but it was 150 feet long at least, and maybe 50 feet high, and it was very vividly without thrust, evident thrust or propulsion. It floated towards the hotel, and it stopped about 10 feet off our window, so we got a really, really good look at it. It looked like a big air mattress turned on its back, and underneath were bulbs. A bunch of grapes is what we thought it was similar to. Just like a bunch of grapes along the bottom of this thing. Silent, no lights, and it sat there. So for about a half minute, we got a really good look at it at that close range. And then it rotated and it drifted off. And we ran out into the hall. There was a window at the back hall there looking over the St. Lawrence River. And the thing just drifted off like that and vanished. Now, I know what I saw. That was not a helicopter, a meteoric bolide, any kind of technology that we have on this earth that can hover silently and then turn and has no windows. And drones don't do that. Drones need propulsion and propellers. So that was pretty unbelievable. But I believe it happened to me.
And that's the most amazing thing, believing, because once you believe, it's true. Now we're going to share with you one more episode of a segment that we're calling Bizarre.
It's fair play to electrocute your opponent.
As you are running, your opponent can run up to you and tase you.
Guys are getting tased 30 to 40 times a game.
Or you could enter a dangerous downhill foot race against a well-aged rival.
The wheel of cheese is moving at 70 miles an hour.
People break legs, blown out knees, head injuries.
How about staging a friendly competition that's less of a ball game, more of a head game?
They take a freshly severed head, attach it to a rope, and then attach that to a pole.
So what can you share with us after seeing this teaser of the episode?
Well, it doesn't surprise me anymore. What human beings, do, and the lengths they will go to participate in thrills and in sports that are harrowing and dangerous, and in contests like the cheese wheel, which is just insane. The prize is the cheese. I mean, and they're risking their lives to go down there and get this wheel of cheese. It's only something humans would do. The other sports, there's a couple of other ones too, but the tasing how do you survive that much shock? These guys must be in really, really good shape. I don't want to play. I wouldn't want to play, but isn't it unbelievable that humans go to these lengths? That's one of the fun things about the show is we also deal in quirky, weird, aberrant human behavior that really happened.
Absolutely. And only humans can keep pushing it further and further. So it's going to be 10 new episodes. Yes, 10 new episodes of the second season. Do you have some story that is more closer to your heart, and why?
Well, because of the UFO interest I have, I think the Brazil story is going to be spectacular. And also the Barney and Betty Hill case is very compelling. And there are some that believe that no, it was all a dream. The psychiatrist who hypnotized them both and brought back their regressive memories, in the end concluded no, it never really happened. But there's just such compelling evidence and such clarity in Betty Hill's account of their abduction in near Franconia Notch, New Hampshire, in the early 60s. They were driving down to home from a visit from Montreal where they'd been on a little vacation, and Betty saw this light in the sky, and it began to grow closer to them, and they were fascinated by this light. They kind of followed it and pulled over into a parking lot, and Barney doesn't remember what happened next, but Betty remembers that they were both taken up into this vessel, and they were experimented on. Ova was drawn from her, and then sperm from him, as they figure. And in retrospect, when they look back on the abduction, traumatized them for the rest of their lives. But Betty had frequent UFO experiences after that, witnessing objects. That is, so that was a very, very compelling case. And some say, oh no, it was a dream, and they saw nothing, and it could never have happened. But Betty's account is so vivid of her interactions with the beings. So that's close to me, just because of my sighting and the fact that we should be aware of this as human beings. In the United States, we have a Title 817 that, in the U.S. Code that prevents kidnapping. So these aliens are clearly breaking the law, and they should be arrested.
One story that I found very bizarre, besides the UFO stories and also the race that break a soccer game in Brazil, was this story of a lady called Corina Cavagano, that is from Argentina, that she hated so much her mother-in-law that she knew her mother-in-law loved so much the church that they used to have in front of their building. However, this woman was able to build a building to cover the whole view of the church, so her mother-in-law was never able to see the church again. Her mother-in-law was called Mercedes Castellano from Anchorena, Buenos Aires. How far can a human being can go to do these bizarre things, I wonder?
Well, this is another beautiful subject that we treat is spectacular architecture that people have constructed for various purposes. For instance, the Taj Mahal. We see the white Taj Mahal now, but the Khan was contemplating doing a second one in black marble right across the river until his son locked him up and said, "You're bankrupting the nation." So that's why there's only one Taj Mahal. One of the most compelling cases of obsession with a belief is Mrs. Winchester. Her husband's father invented the Winchester 73 repeating rifle, which was responsible for the white man's conquest of the West in large part. And so she built a house up in Northern California. She started with a small farmhouse. It eventually had over 500 rooms, staircases. It was 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 square feet in places. And there were tiny little rooms with what you'd go, tiny little rooms or tiny little doors. You'd go in and be into a ballroom, or there'd be a wall. And this was because she feared the spirits of the old West that were killed by the repeating rifle. See, she felt that she would have an indigenous spirit come and haunt her. And indeed, there were sightings on the house when the carpenters were building it. So the Winchester house is still there, and you can go see it. Yeah. And then some of the
Now,
constructions yeah.
No, please go in. Keep going.
Well, some of the World War II constructions, places like there's a column in the middle of the English Channel that is actually its own country. The guy has his own stamps and passports, and he lives there. And it was built as a gun emplacement to fight submarines and planes and that. But it's still there, and it's a big sea-proof column in the middle of the English Channel that is now home to this family. And we did a piece on them, and it's desolate. It's you can only come in by helicopter or a boat that tosses against a big buoy, and you can hardly stay on and get off. It's quite unusual. And then of course there are the natural things that people have built. There's in Indonesia there's a treehouse colony 100 feet in the air, and this tribe lives above the forest. In this treehouse colony, and I believe some of the Old West stories are quite funny. Where big redwood trees were being cut down, so people would be living in them, living in the stumps, putting churches in the stumps, coffee shops, restaurants, living in logs after the trees were cut down. And so mankind will certainly adapt to his surroundings. And, you think of the logical reason, why would they want to live off the forest floor? Well, critters, snakes, bugs, and also spirits that roam the forest floor at night. They would believe that being up so high, that they might be absolved of an interference from spirits.
Right. Now we are going to open our Q&A with our media outlets from Latin America and Brazil.
Yes, we're going to start with Soniver Jimenez from El Universal newspaper, Venezuela. Soniver? I think she's having a problem with her mic. We continue.
Don't worry,
with
I
Rolando
have her question. Soniver Jimenez just sent me a question. One of the episodes of this new season of Unbelievable shows the phenomenon of the relámpago de Catatumbo, which every night experiences the highest concentration of lightning on Earth, located in the lake of Maracaibo in Venezuela. What do you remember about this phenomenon?
Well, there's no place on Earth that has this concentration of continuous lightning activity. And, meteorologists have tried to analyze why it would be the confluence of topography and presence of water. And it just seems to be it's an electrically charged part of the world. Maybe it has something to do with what's down in the lake. And I think that's a mystery that science should explore.
Correct. And all the maracuchos are very famous for that. Todos los maracuchos saben exactamente a lo que él se refiere, porque en el lago Maracaibo cae este relámpago muy fuerte en ciertas temporadas del año. Now we have a question from Del Palco, Chile. If you could travel back in time to witness one of the events featured in this new season of Unbelievable, which one would be and why?
Wow, that's a good question. If I could travel back in time, I would want to go to Washington, D.C. in July of 1952, the month and year I was born. I would want to go back to the weekend of, I believe it was the 14th, 15th, and 16th, when there were echelon formations of bright lights taking shape above Washington, D.C., witnessed by thousands. It was a sort of a 3-day spectacular UFO event over our capital there in DC, and I would like to go back and be a witness one afternoon, sitting by the ellipse and watching these things fly over the dome. And you can search. There are many photos of them, and they weren't fog or swamp gas.
Thank you. Now we have another question from Pulimetro And the question from Chile: do you think science is closer to explain some of these phenomena, or will there always be a margin and a gap between reality and mystery?
There will always be a margin or a gap between the mystery and reality. With regards to paranormal events, supernatural events, spirits, hauntings, apparitions, science has not gone very far to analyze how an apparition appears. So the mysteries that science can solve are, of course, are more to do with the physical reality of the world we live in day to day. Weird weather events or strange, the physics of accidents sometimes, or the invention of strange machines. Science can help us understand why these things would occur. But when it comes to the supernatural, the strict supernatural, paranormal, spirits, apparitions, science has not come very, very far. And I would love to know what the molecular and chemical construction of an apparition is. For instance, the ghost of Flight 401. Stewardesses and pilots were seeing the ghost of a flight engineer. They saw his torso and his head anyway, in some cases. Now, how does that happen? What energy is being coalesced to produce an apparition or an apportation from the other side? Wow, if science could answer that, that'd be great. I think science can make progress and has been making progress on understanding what might be powering some of these UAPs or UFOs, machines that are so far hyper advanced than anything we have. They're beginning to understand what might be powering them and what command over gravity they're exercising and how they do it. So science and some scientists are coming along to try to understand that a little better, and that could be to all our benefit. Boy, wouldn't it be great to find out what fuel causes these things to fly around and flit from dimension or from space to space? We could solve water problems, we could solve power problems, we could make humanity so much better. So I'm saying to the alien creatures that might be out there, share. Come on, give it up. Let's have that technology. Come on, share.
Thank you so much. Mariana, next question, please.
Rolando Gallego from Hoy Newspaper, Argentina.
Hi, Dan. Nice to meet you. I had two little questions. One, this week, Saturday Night Live have the 50th birthday, and I like to know how do you feel with this this thing that the Saturday Night Live put you in the spotlight around the world. And the next, I like to know if you feel that Increíble was the successor of TV shows like Believe It or Not that we watch all the life.
Saturday Night Live, I have, Lorne Michaels, and I have that show to thank for my exposure, as you say. And I'm grateful that I was hired and that I had 4 years there. I'm a big fan of the show. I watch it all the time. I watched the 50th. I saw every second of it. Part of the reason I didn't go myself was to stay home and watch it on television and enjoy it at home. And now to be given an opportunity by History Channel and A&E to go out there and present subjects which I am fascinated with, brings me full circle in television to a conclusion, perhaps, of my career with similar passions. My first passion was with Saturday Night Live and comedy, and my new passion now is the unexplained and the incredible, and sharing the A&E and History Channel spotlight with Bill Shatner and Danny Trejo to present stories that all of us are interested in. And that's why this show is a success, because everyone is interested in this material. Humankind wants knowledge anyway, and to have these fascinating, mind-blowing subjects presented to us, episodes and occurrences, it's extremely entertaining, and I think that's it's really the driving force of the success.
We have a question from Colombia, El Tiempo, and it's the following. Unbelievable is a series that can have an infinite number of seasons because unusual situations and phenomenon happens every day. What's the challenge to keep the audience interested, alive in the face of artificial intelligence and social media developments, with they today conquer millions of people around the world with false content and fake news? How to know what is true and what is not?
Well, one of the things I love about my association with History Channel is the fact checkers and researchers are impeccable, and the sources that we use on the show are bona fide and verified, and we are an example of non-fake and non-AI generated. No, that's me up there. I'm not an AI figure. That's Dan Aykroyd for whatever he is today. No AI involved, and nor do we go and have AI make up subjects for us or write scripts for us. So we're one of the truth seekers and truth tellers out there, and the truths we're telling are about events that have happened here on this planet, impacting humans in a variety of ways. And mostly producing for your benefit and my benefit an extremely entertaining pantheon of choices and subjects. So that's how we're going to keep people interested, is by switching up subjects. We have odd crimes coming up. We have odd architecture coming up. We have odd survival stories coming up. We have a whole range of subjects that we're going to be peppering in there. So I have no doubt that we will sustain through this season and perhaps another one.
Perfect. We are looking forward for that. What is the next question, Mariana?
Anaí Martino from Folia de São Paulo, Brazil.
Hello, Dan. Nice to meet you. I'm
Hi.
Anaí from Brazil. Hi.
Nice to meet you. Oh yeah, hi.
Thank you.
Do you know about that case in the 70s? Do you know about that case in the 70s?
So I would ask you that if you have ever been to Brazil, and if you are aware of the many UFO experiences that happen here. And I like to ask another question about humanity is now really trying to reach other planets and to reach the extraterrestrials. So I like to know if you believe we are going to make this official contact with them in the next few years, I mean, in this century, and how would this encounter be?
Okay, well, you've got a few questions there. First of all, you're aware, I'm totally aware of Brazil's UFO history. There was a case that we treat in our show in the 70s off an island off the northern coast of Brazil, where people were terrorized, they were lasered, they were hurt. Some people died. The military and police looked into it, and we're going to be looking at that. That's a spectacular UFO event. And then, of course, there are many famous UFO stories. And I'm aware of them, and we're going to treat them in the show. To go to your first question, I have been to your spectacular country, and I've been to Rio, and stood before the Christ and looked out over the harbor and had a wonderful time with your warm, loving, and exciting people. Yes, we're going to be looking at all kinds of UFO events as we come up, credible ones with credible witnesses. Do I think there's going to be official contact? No, I don't think there's ever going to be official contact. I think they're going to come and go as they wish. They don't want much to do with us formally in a public sense. There has already been official contact, probably on in terms of secret intelligence sense and black box programs, and there's a whole layer of government that we never see or never know about that is probably dealing with these beings and having trade with them. But that will never be revealed to us because it's just too disturbing, and the authorities do not want to disturb the populace to that extent. So I don't think there'll be an official public acknowledgement other than, the Pentagon releasing accounts and saying they're unexplained and they don't know what they are. And they're doing that now.
And we have the question from, thank you. Now we have the question from Juan Carlos Berner, the Unbelievable, a TV show in Chile. His question is, Unbelievable is a series about people doing crazy things or about strange things that happen to people. My question, therefore, is, what's the weirdest thing you have ever done in your life, or the weird thing that ever happened to you? Something that could be part of the show?
Well, I don't think they would treat anything that I've been through. I don't know, maybe my UFO sighting, which I spoke about earlier, but it was weird. It was weird, but not so weird because I know that it wasn't man-made. I don't know. Let's see now. I've had some interesting sort of telepathic events where I got into an elevator with a lady, and I was going to the 8th floor at Saturday Night Live, and I didn't know where she was going, and I got in, and she got in, and the elevator doors closed, and I pushed 2, and she pushed 8. We pushed each other's floors, and that kind of stuff happens all the time. So that was a little weird. I had an event that happened to me in Pennsylvania a few years ago. I was in Pittsburgh with Crystal Head Vodka doing a promotion, and I got into my car, which is a black ex-police interceptor, and I Ford Mercury Marquis with a punched-out Cleveland motor in it. And I started on the highway, and I about, sort of halfway through my journey out of town, a few miles, I saw this car behind me. It was a beaten-up green Toyota, and it was following me. And I thought, well, it's nothing. I stopped at a light, and it pulled up behind me. And then I kept going, and it followed me. And then I pulled in for gas, and it followed me right and parked right just off a few feet behind me. And so I glanced and looked at the driver, didn't really register what or who the driver was. I pumped the gas, I went in to pay. The car was still there, this beaten up green Toyota. I looked at it, looked at the driver, and it seemed to be a withered, gray, green, old lady's face, wrinkled with a wig, some kind of a wig. I don't know, a curly wig, and green goggles. I mean, I swear, this is, you asked for weird, okay? So this happened to me. I look at her, and she's got these glasses on that are glowing like a little green dot in there, and she's withered, and she's looking at me, and I'm thinking, what the? So I figure, oh, wow, well, go get your gas, lady, see you later. And I pull out, and I drive out into the road, and she follows me, or it follows me. I think it was a woman. I got with the wig and that, looked like a woman. She follows me, and I'm thinking, what? So I speed up, she follows me. I speed up a little more, she follows me. I make a radical right turn, she follows me. I do a U-turn in the middle of the road, get back on, she follows me. Finally, I get to the interstate, and I just punch it and outrun her because of the equipment that I was driving. Who? Why? What? Was she a fan? Didn't look that way. If she, fans get out and they say, may I have a selfie? May I have an autograph? She'll get out of the car or say, can I have a picture? Sure, whatever. Those encounters are by the dozens with me, and I don't mind them. But she was like clocking me, and she did radical driving to try to keep up with me. So that's the weirdest things that happened to me on the road, for sure.
And we can all relate to something like that, one way or the other. Now we have another question from Diario El País, Argentina. This year, we are going to celebrate 40 years of We Are the World. And we know that just by chance, you end up in that video with Michael Jackson and everybody else. What it means, that amazing, unique event in your life?
Well, to be a part of something where humanity really tried to reach out and help another segment of humanity that they never see, being the starving people of Africa at that time, and the chronic famine that had occurred here you had the elite, Hollywood elite, music elite, and show business royalty actually coming together and doing something, giving their time, giving their talent, giving their energy, and creative force to build awareness and raise money to assist a segment of humanity that was, 3/4 of the way across the world. That was exciting to be a part of it, and of course to be in a room with Quincy Jones, and he was afraid that I was going to do some Blues Brothers stuff and take over the room, so he warned me.
Okay, we go to the next question then. In that note.
Brisa Kunichiro from Estrelando, Brazil.
Hi, how are you? I want to
Hi,
start
good.
telling congratulations for your success. You have a very successful career, and I want to ask you about one second. You have a very successful career in your fiction films and stuff, and now you have a very successful program with non-fiction stuff, but weird. And I want to tell you that your career gave you an Oscar nominated, and you in Brazil right now we are going through an amazing moment because we have 3 nominated categories in the Oscar. And I don't know if you had the chance to watch I'm Still Here and Fernanda Torres' job, because she's acting. And I want to know if you had any advice for the Brazilian team that's going on the Oscar in March. If you could give any advice to us, what would it be?
To the actors that are nominated, or the people that are nominated, do I have any advice?
Yes, like how?
That's the question.
How would you?
Yes, that's the question.
Yes, that's the question.
I see. Well, I haven't seen many of the contestants, so I don't know. My advice to any creator, writer, actor, producer, director, creative originator is always to keep doing it, never give up. You have a project, a script, an idea, never give up. If you give up, you get nothing. So keep writing, keep working, keep doing what you're doing. And to those that have been nominated and have the spotlight of the Academy Awards on them, enjoy the evening. I've been there a couple of times, and it's a lot of fun. But after it's all over, go back to what you do. Go back to creating, writing, originating, and producing. And that will give you a fulfilling, rich life if you're doing what you want, treating the subjects you want creatively. So that's what I would say to them. But it's a fun night. Enjoy it, and don't miss some of those after parties in Hollywood. Wow.
Mariana, next question, please.
Yes, Tiago Tichetti from UFO Magazine, Brazil.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of your career since I was a kid. You're not so old as I am, so it's okay. My question is, this series will talk about the chupa-chupa attacks and cholerias in Brazil. So I investigate this phenomenon as a ufologist. In your opinion, what will be the goal, the objective of this attack against the human beings?
Cannot hear you.
He's breaking up.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes,
sorry.
He's crackling. I don't know. Yes. So I can't. Couldn't hear all of it.
Tiago, can you repeat
your
question? We cannot hear you. Yes, we couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Something with the microphone there.
Okay.
With him.
Okay. You will talk about the cholerias, the incidents in cholerias in Brazil. I investigated this case in Brazil. And what do you think the main objective of these attacks?
I believe we do treat the Colares case. It's fascinating because the military and police in Brazil looked into it extensively, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. But it was there. There were multi-witnesses. I think a couple of them are still alive. There were burnings, laser attacks. Few people died. A couple of people died. I think it was terrorism, just malevolent beings, dicking around with humankind and experimenting with their weapons. It was a straight up alien terrorist attack, that. And I don't think there's ever been one as extreme that I know of on the planet, although some people have been mistreated from time to time by these beings and their technology. And, by one estimate, my belief is that, along with many others, is that and yourself as a researcher, sure, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have been taken onto these vessels since the beginning of our existence. And sometimes people come back and sometimes they don't. So, Lord Hill Norton there, the British Defense Attaché, said his research led him to believe there were 23 different types of alien creatures coming to this country and to this world, and 23 different types of ships. And so if you're looking at that kind of range, some of them are up to good things, some of them are up to bad.
Very simple answer. Thank you so much. Mildred from Extra Pop from Mexico wants to know, what do you consider, Dan, to be the most unbelievable thing on a normal day in your life?
Most unbelievable thing in a normal day?
Yes, of your life, yes.
Well, I mean, I have a pretty quiet life right now. So mostly believable things happen to me day to day. But occasionally, I have events like I spoke of with that thing following me in the Toyota. I don't know what that was. And then my UFO sighting, of course. To me, there's miracles every day. And what I would say is unbelievable every day in our lives that happens to us is the passing of millions of neutrino particles through our bodies. Like right now, there's 1 billion neutrinos that are going right through you right now. There's another bill. There's another bill. So that's unbelievable to me. These particles are undetected. You can't see them, but they are penetrating everything on this planet and going through us right now. I'm sitting here. Oh, there's a bill. Just went through me. 1 billion neutrinos up from the sky to the. That's unbelievable. That happens every day.
And now, finally, Dan, before we let you go, enjoy your island adventure, because you have the perfect attire for that. And
yeah,
we want to know that, we have Morgan Freeman, Lawrence Fishburne, William Shatner, Danny Trejo, Tom Hanks, Dennis Quaid, and many other amazing, interesting, fascinating icons from Hollywood, male leading actors like yourself. So how do you feel being in such a good company as one of the presenters of history? How do you feel about it? And do you think it's a good idea for history to bring all these superheroes, to bring history back as an entertainment largest platform on earth?
Well, yeah, what do you think? I'm vastly honored, and it's a privilege to be a part of this group. I think if you look at the careers of these guys and all of us, it's not something that we need to do in our careers. These guys work. Morgan works. Dennis works. Danny works. I work from time to time doing whatever I'm up to, vodka or my blues concert. So, but all of these actors, who have very good careers, aren't doing this because they need to. They do it because they love the material, and they love to narrate. I'm speaking for myself, and I think for all of them, they love to narrate. They love to present. They love to be a part of something that is a hit. And it's just such fun material and a fun platform to get out there and tell stories. So I think all of us as actors have had good careers in Hollywood will always embrace jobs like this. Tom Hanks does a lot of narration and a lot of on-camera work as well, presenting documentaries and again, here's an actor, he could just do movies and produce television, but he likes to get out there because he loves the material. So we're all part of a great thing, and I hope that we all get to meet sometime.
I love it. So now, before we let you go, please remember everyone who's here with us on all the media outlets from Latin America and Brazil to don't miss this amazing second season of Unbelievable in History.
Well, you'll be seeing all kinds of interesting stories with the great research and beautiful film clips. And again, we have the story in Brazil that we're going to be treating. We have the lady in Argentina that you mentioned that built the church, the structure over the church. We've got the Mexican doll story, which we did, and of course will always be in our archives. And again, Latin America is home of the chupacabra. What's going on there? I'd like to know.
Thank you so much, Dan. Until next time. And we hope we have another successful series and another season, and many of them with Unbelievable and Dan Aykroyd. You're always fun and fascinating to be with. Thank you so much. Take care.
I thank you, sir. You look forward to seeing you again. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Gracias. Obrigado.
Bye. Salud.
Si escuchas estas grabaciones, lo que oirás es absolutamente escalofriante.
Están por todas partes. Hay peces por todas partes. Cayeron del cielo. Hay otro. ¡Mira!
Esto es real.
Por increíbles que parezcan.
Increíble. Con Dan Aykroyd. Por History Channel.